I often used to go in neighborhoods that weren't seeing a resurgence of that growth. And I think of an example like Midtown, which just wouldn't, even no matter how much growth there was, it just didn't seem to be going anywhere. And Third Ward, historically African-American neighborhood, just seemed to be going farther and farther down when in fact parts of the city, neighborhoods were just going quickly up and escalating, and growth was going out. And I have a wonderful map that I didn't have back then, but I wish I had, that looks at the growth of this city that for the most part was west and then north. And I think that in Houston, it wasn't really planned at all because, as you know, we don't have zoning. We have planning, but the planning department is more about, did you bring the right plat map in? Did you get your streets the right width? Do you have your drainage there? And so there was a lot about accommodating growth and not a lot about, do you have a park in your area? And it's been later, actually in the last, I'd say 10 years, and especially under Mayor White, that developers are beginning to have to recognize that they have to provide those green spaces. And if they do, they get, in many cases, a clientele that's willing to pay more for the house because they want to live there and they want to be part of that community. But for a long time, in the late 70s when growth was incredibly booming and the oil prices were really high, I don't think there was planned growth. It was just wherever they'll put it, let's just take advantage of it. And it was the 80s that I think caused us to recognize that maybe unparalleled growth isn't necessarily, and unplanned growth isn't necessarily the greatest thing in the world. I'm not sure we've learned all those lessons, but now we're beginning to.